Hey everybody, and hope everyone's doing well as usual, most definitely, and having a great summer so far wherever you're at. Thanks again for watching, and if you haven't yet, definitely subscribe and give it a thumbs up, and let me know if you have any questions or comments, that sort of thing. As always, I really appreciate the info and feedback. That sort of thing. So, speaking of which, so I wanted to do like an update video on. I've really been really fascinated with the topic of UFOs recently, and especially like with more of the stuff coming out, uh, our government admitting to that sort of thing, and more and more people have phones, and it just becoming hard to deny the fact that we're alone in the universe. So I've done a few other videos in the past, and I did one recently about crop circles. So, and I think I hurried through that one. So actually, I know I did. Um, so when I was reading about it, and then I was just too excited. And I remember when I was having these conversations, and I was trying to channel information, and I asked, are crop circles like some are hoaxes, and um, I was kind of running on the assumption. I'm so curious why, like if some aliens can speak English, which I think they can. Actually, I know that some of them can, from what I understand. Like why are they ruining people's crops if they have if they're so wise and ancient and evolved? Can't they like send us a letter? Like why do they have to use some poor farmer's crop field as like a notepad to try and get a like what if nobody sees the message? Like what if they pick the wrong farmer and he mows it all down the next day, or like the government doesn't get to see it, or that sort of thing. I don't know. Like it seems like a weird way to communicate with us. But anyways, I think I'd um, absolutely hurried through that particular last one and was kind of running on the assumption, that crop circles just weren't real at all. So when I would ask a question like, "Were crop circles real?" Um, and I try to kind of reverse engineer my answer. So I have to correct this because I was saying, oh yeah, none of them are real initially, and I did hear. I'm like positive I heard words like none, but I don't know if that's what was the appropriate message was. Um, so just based on the bits and pieces I picked up from that previous conversation, I tried to have, and it was hurried. I'll totally admit that. So I apologize. And Kurt, one of my friends who's a subscriber, he was saying, um, oh, crop circles actually, because I was saying they only go back decades, and turns out they go back way further. So I did very little research and kind of hurried through trying to obtain this information. So thank you for that. I always appreciate like information and sharing things like that. And he also mentioned, that certain crop circles are definitely hoaxes, but some of them are kind of beyond description. And I found these videos too, so thanks again. I really appreciate it. About how um, some actually have some sort of energetic um, residue, like some sort of uh, not like radioactive, but just as an example, some kind of physical material or residue or energy that is left over around certain crop circles. Not all of them, kind of indicating that some sort of energy or different method was used to create these crop circles. So um, I did a lot more. I didn't do like a whole like uh, piece by piece, like grab a word here, grab a word there, and I think I assumed a lot too as I moved forward. So I tried to have these conversations again. Here's what I garnered, kind of got from my last conversations, as far as the reality of I'm positive there's aliens. Okay, so I'm working on that. That's my that's just period. So, but from what I understand, so there's a like a federation, and there have been like other not just U.S. but other, like for example, there was an Israeli retired general, I think, who spoke to this. But we are aware of aliens, and they do have like a sort of federation, kind of like in Star Trek, and we, from what I understand, are kind of lucky because we um, kind of fall under the area. We're being observed and monitored and protected by like the good portion, the more advanced and wiser overall of like the collection of planets and species and that sort of thing. And the U.S. government's been in contact with them for quite some time. But so there's a very strict non-interference protocol, and not to interfere with life here unless it's specifically necessary. So they actually watch over here and observe and protect for the most part. But from what I understand, many crop circles, just to kind of correct that, are okay. So what I had asked, I have to be careful how I ask questions too sometimes, because I don't always hear the full answer. So what I had asked, so from what I understand, after some more careful back and forth conversations, like with my spiritual guides, was asking, after I realized, okay, well, there is a federation. They are kind of watching over here. Our crop circles, are they all hoaxes, or are some of them real? And why did they occur? Like, are these like breaches in protocol, for example? So that's kind of what I formed my conversation around, was these protection or safety protocols, to where they try to monitor and not allow rogue elements within their own federation or even government to do certain things, or outside planets or federations, that we might equate to, say, like China or Russia, try to be invasive, like on a new developing planet like us. So there are protocols watching over planets like us, and yes, some crop circles do come from aliens, from what I understand, but it's not allowed. So I think that's part of the message I was hearing wrong the first time. Not necessarily none are real, but none are allowed. From what I understand, there's actually strict rules against that sort of thing. And there have been breaches in protocol for crop circles. Some are hoaxes, some are man-made, but some absolutely come from life beyond Earth, which is kind of cool. Then I had asked about abductions too. Are abductions real? So not all. It was the same answer, actually. So there have been breaches in protocol, meaning that people, believe it or not, like rogue elements, from what I understand, within like the good federation, but also like kind of like, say, how would I equate it? Say like like the United States, we're part of NATO, but then we decided to do something that goes against the established protocol, like that. So like the good, quote unquote, good part of that collective of the federation, there have been rogue elements within that, but also like bad, negative elements and other species too that have also abducted humans, but always put them back, for what that's worth, after experimenting and studying them for a while. Being like bad or negative civilizations, say someone like Russia or North Korea, for example, were to do something that weren't part of like the good part of the collective. So there have been actually instances of both, where like the good and bad civilizations or federations did things they were not supposed to, that went against the established rules. So that was interesting. And then I also asked about cattle mutilations, because I was reading a little bit about that, and same answer. So it's interesting. So there's just rules that govern non-interference and don't show up here and don't mess with things as life evolves. But it's pretty well monitored and maintained. But laws have been broken. And just like we have the World Court and that sort of thing to try to address things at a global level, and not every country signs up for these sorts of things. So like Russia is a good example. They do things and then they ignore like warrants or that sort of thing, or rules or announcements that are made by like the World Court, because they didn't sign up to participate in it to a certain degree, that sort of thing. So it's like politics in the stars, just like we have here on Earth. So those are the three examples I focused on, and it sounds like, from what I understand, so just to kind of edit and correct everything I've said so far, I did mention before alien abductions were real from the conversations I had. I never covered cattle mutilations until now, and then crop circles as of recently. So all three of those things have occurred, by aliens, but we're not allowed each and every time. So it's something that is not supposed to be done, but we are making our way. As far as like non-interference and communication and stuff like that, we're now exploring the stars. We have a space force and that sort of thing. So these sorts of there's more open communication protocols, and as our technology increases, their ability to communicate with us is going to increase as well. And there's some cool videos about that too, how you can do that on your own, which is crazy stuff. Like I've watched a couple cool videos about that. Contact CE5 is one of them, and just to name one it's the only one I can remember right now. But okay, so that's what I wanted to update and just kind of bring everything up to speed and correct what I said about crop circles in the past. Add that about cattle mutilations, and also just reconfirm what I heard about abductions. So all three of those things have occurred. That being said, that's all I wanted to share for this video. So thanks again. I really do appreciate it. And any information, I love reading, hearing your thoughts and ideas, and love kind of just establishing this sort of information. I think it's great, and to have these kind of discussions. And I'm learning as I go too. So, and there's been a lot of people too that have also added to these discussions, and have emailed me. Thank you so much. Like, this is just great. I really appreciate it, you guys. So, again, I hope you're all doing great, and thank you again for watching. And please take care, and we'll see you in the next video.